New Zealand, and a warm welcome from the river city of Brisbane. It's the Bundaberg Run Test between the Kangaroos and the Kiwis. A mouth-watering clash, this one, of course. New Zealand breathing so much life into international football with their success against the Green and Golds in last year's Tri-Nations. And look at this crowd. Plenty of expats have turned out for this one. An enormous night for rugby league, and certainly enormous interest on both sides of the Tasman.
Enormous interest. And just watching this crowd reaction as they've got the players coming up on screen. The Australian players are up on screen at the moment, being introduced to the crowd. And I'd say it's pretty mixed. Tests here in the past have been dominated by some New Zealand or expats, people who've come over for the match. But tonight, well, there's a fair share of Australians here as well, Ropo.
And what you've got is an international game that now has a much level footing. Certainly a lot more competitive on both sides.
Let's have a look at the New Zealand side. Massive changes here. Changes galore, in fact. It's a new-look bench. Marshall, Faiumu, Azatazi, Pritchard, they all go to the bench here tonight. Louis Anderson will, in fact, go to hooker. And, of course, the big news. Ruben Wiki is out with the hamstring problem. Nathan Kalis comes in to partner brother Jason up front. And there is a new captain for the Kiwis tonight. His name, Nigel Bunganar. The coach, the man they call Bluey, Brian McLennan.
For sure, and the big change here is Anderson around the ruck. Faiumu, who will start from the bench, will be brought on when the game opens up a bit, and we'll see his marvellous and wonderful footwork for sure. But just the tidy work out of that area in the first, some 10-15 minutes, that will be under the microscope.
And what you've got under the microscope is a massive collision about to unfold. You've got a forward or starting pack that still contains a lot of punch. When you've got the likes of Louis Anderson in the acting half, you know it's going to be strong. It's going to be about fighting for whatever inch, whatever metre you can get as you look to try and dominate that territory game that you want to overcome. It's about bullying. It's about getting down the other end. It's about making them force out of the corners. They've got a pack to start, but the loss of Ruben Wiki, that is massive.
Okay, let's have a look at the current world champions. We shouldn't lose sight of that. That's the Kangaroos, still smarting from that Tri-Nations debacle. Tonight they welcome back Lockyer and Johns, and Carmichael Hunt, the could-have-been Kiwi, finds himself on debut in the place of the injured Minicello. Thurston, another debutant, he is on the bench. And coaching Australia for the first time, he could well get booed here tonight. You never know. His name is Ricky Stewart.
Oh, he won't get booed, Ricky Stewart. They'll love him up here, especially if he gets a win. Look at the size of numbers 2, 3, 4 and 5. All over 100 kilo. Speed to burn. Huge, huge men. A workaholic back row in O'Donnell and Hindmarsh. They'll top the tackle count for Australia.
All right, a lovely day it has been here in the Queensland capital. To tell us more, pitch side tonight, Stephen McIver, good evening to you.
Good evening, Costo. Perfect conditions for football tonight, although the dew has already started to get on top of that ground, so a slippery ball early might be something that both sides will have to keep a watch on. The key tonight for me, take the crowd out of the equation if you are the Kiwis. The only way you're going to do that is start scoring early, and I'll be watching how wide the Kangaroos go first, because that's going to be a tough one. Very, very exciting. The crowd is amped for this one, and the teams aren't too far away from coming out. As you said earlier, and as I said earlier too, Costo, let's bring this one on.
Not too far away, Stephen, from kick-off here tonight. Just on this crowd too, fellas, so many expats here living in southeast Queensland nowadays. I'm not so convinced about the split on the crowd here tonight.
No, but what I have got is perhaps understanding and recognising that you can take the crowd out of this, and you can turn this crowd onto the Australian side. Because let's not forget all the controversies that has surrounded the fact that you do not have Matty Bowen, one of the Queensland favourites, in the #1 shirt tonight. A lot of controversy about Carmichael Hunt. Should this not go the way of the Green and Golds, then don't be surprised if they start to turn and vent their flavour on the Ricky Stewarts.
Won't it be interesting the first time Carmichael Hunt touches the ball? What sort of reaction will he actually get?
Yeah, so we stand by here for kick-off tonight. Crowd very anxious to see the two combatants here tonight. A real flashback, really. We heard from Kevin Tarmany, of course, pre-match. Really gets the blood boiling. There's been so many barbs fired left, right and centre this week.
Oh, hasn't there? There's certainly had not been a shortage of those willing to get involved, to participate and being able to shoot them over the bow. The big one, the best one I heard was Bobby Fulton coming in and making it quite clear last year that was a fluke, and perhaps also suggesting that you've got to look at the ego of the coach, Brian McLennan. But all this is just about building up the hype that surrounds the game. Everyone knowing it's about building what we've got here at the moment, a near sellout crowd. People that have come to watch international football now getting up to perhaps what it has always wanted to be at the best. Many talking about it being bigger and better than perhaps what Origin has become here locally in Australia.
Certainly so much has been achieved for New Zealand Rugby League in recent times. They've in fact beat beaten this team in green and gold twice out of their last 3 meetings. And for the record, though, it was the Kangaroos who won the corresponding game here at this venue 32-16 last season.
And the theme for this campaign is about climbing Everest. That's about little steps. It's about building your way to the top. And DJ, it's about also being able to find the good sides as you come down on the other end.
Oh, for sure, and have a feel for the players in there. Longo, his first test, making his debut, getting a start as well. Very, very quiet, a quiet calm in that New Zealand changing shed. It will explode once they cross the white line, that's for sure, but that's how they've been this week. They're a quiet bunch when you get a group of Polynesian-based players together. Not a lot of talk, but hopefully a lot of action.
Yes, Fa'alongo on debut for New Zealand tonight, alongside Brisbane boy Tame Tupou, and just on Ruben Wiki's withdrawal, gentlemen, a body blow in the eyes of so many.
A body blow, it's a massive blow. When you talk about how this game is going to be played, it is going to be about the meters. It's about earning territory. It's about getting down the other end. Bluey McLennan came out and was quite emphatic in the fact that their game is about being able to roll your sleeves up. It is about providing obstacles which are about difficult to tackle. Ruben Wiki, he reflects that.
Well, speak of the devil, it is the man who is the most capped rugby league international going round, albeit in his civvies, who is at the front of the queue here as we go to the Australians, and Darren Lockyer bringing out the Kangaroos to a place he knows oh so well. The 15th Queenslander ever to captain Australia, and now New Zealand. They are on the park as well, and a farewell tonight for that man. Andrew Johns, his last ever game in the green and gold.
True legend of the game, Joey. And he deserves to go out on the centre stage. Quick wave to the crowd, playing with some of his closest mates in Ben Kennedy. Spent a lot of treasured moments with him in the Newcastle team, one of his closest allies. And while we wish him well for this match, we take interest more so with this New Zealand side.
Brent Webb sucking in the big ones himself, a man who was eligible for both teams, of course. So we stand by now for the anthems here at Suncorp Stadium.
The New Zealand national anthem, performed by
God of nations, as thy feet in the arms of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God defend our free land. God's Pacific triple stars from the shafts of strife and war. Make her praises burn our fire. God defend New Zealand.
Tremendous stuff. Saya Bayusu evoking plenty of passion there. I'm sure there's quite a few homesick fans here tonight for New Zealand.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden
a choir boy, but I'll tell you what, I've been to Lang Park Suncorp for a long, long time, and that's as good as it gets here for the Kangaroos.
As good as it gets, it's impressive, and perhaps it just reinforces two phrases that have been reinforced over the last few days. For the Kangaroos, it's about pride, it's about passion, it's about sacrifice, but more importantly, they're recognising and willing, whatever the Kiwis throw at them, they will absorb and they will respond.
All right, time now for one of the great spectacles in world sport, the haka. How good was that? Reuben Wiki, frustrated spectator, has to take a seat. Someone give me a tablet. How good will this be?
My word, he is going to be one stressed man, Reuben Wiki, through this match with all the hype, pulling out at the last moment. Have a feel for him. It's a big guy, Willie Mason, hasn't he got a job? Second row, pushed up to the front row. Uncertainty about the Australian props, looking for some new faces in that position, and they've gone with the back row from the Dogs.
Paul Whatuera, what a display in the haka. David Kidwell, it looked as though it was going to be a nervous start, and then he just ripped into it. Willie Mason, certainly one of those players that have been vocal over the last week or so.
In just his second test match, Ashley Klein, Sydney sider, now based in the north of England. He's our referee. Time on in the Bundy Run test match from the Cauldron. The Kiwis with first touch of the football, and it's Nathan Kalis in 19, a late inclusion for New Zealand here tonight, himself the former captain, of course. And the Kiwis now get it straight up to the 20-metre line, opening seconds of this Trans-Tasman battle. New Zealand now using their big men, going hard and straight. Kidwell now almost up to the 30-metre line. New Zealand here defending the southern end of the ground, or the Milton Road end of Suncorp Stadium. And Kalis, that's Nathan, with a second carry. And New Zealand all of a sudden 6 metres, 7 metres thereabouts short of halfway. It was Fa'alongo, his first taste of international football. Now the kick, now the catch, and listen to this. Carmichael Hunt, the youngest player on the park at age 19, his first taste of Test football.
It was a good set of six, the first one for New Zealand, and good that the fact that Fa'alongo got in and got a run. The old guy, Kalis, got a couple, and Sonny Bill Williams got his first touch as well, as Luluai comes up and with a shoulder and misses.
Seven Asiva rises, 10 short of halfway. Badiris, he gets smashed for his troubles. Fa'alongo adding some starch to this Kiwi pack. And there is the first penalty of the game. Thomas Luluai, London Harlequins player, who has flown down under for this, not impressed.
We heard a lot about Thomas Luluai pre-match, about how he thinks he's grown in maturity and what he needs to do. It's about taking over, and forget about Stacey Jones. This is about him. Willie Mason, he gets another carry.
Mason, of course, not accustomed to starting for Australia tonight. He is there. They come the blind side. O'Donnell, Cowboy, back row forward, 15 short of the goal line. In fact, right in front of our commentary position. Badiris, a bit of a jig. Now, Seven Asiva puts his shoulder to the wheel, and he takes the tackle.
And look at the width as to where Lockyer is when it goes next.
Look at the penalty, Peter. Let us go downstairs. Ashley Klein has called a halt.
Yeah, now firstly what happened there, you've gone with the arm anyway. You went with the arm, he obviously missed. Okay, let's just cut it out. We've got no cheap shots at all. Yeah, it was after.
Well, there you go, no cheap shots. Clinton Torpey is actually playing in the lock forward position. Sonny Bill was parked out on the right centre, and that'll push Torpey for a little while anyway in the opening exchanges into the lock forward position. and it's a move that introduces Torpy into the game. You need him in there. You want him getting touches. This is a hit on Badeiras, and the first penalty that was given away by Luluai. And Fa'alongo just holding on too long. And here, over the top.
Get that India.
Well, he misses really.
Andrew Johns, just to bring everybody up to date, is in fact having a shot at goal here. .16 out from goal, straightforward kick. The Aussies, they get us underway. Marshall on the bench tonight, starting this one. It's Australia leading the Kiwis 2-0 at Suncorp.
Back-to-back penalties. Makes for a hard start and not the start that they're looking for. They need to get out of the blocks, and they need to get out of the blocks with momentum behind them.
Brent Webb waiting for the football. Part of just a handful of Warriors selected for New Zealand for this one. Like their poorest representation of all time for a New Zealand Test match.
Been in good form over the last couple of weeks, Brent Webb. Captain Nigel Wagner addressing the referee again for the second time.
So this restart taking an absolute age. Finally, we are set. Off the tee, off the boot of Webb. And Sevenasiva goes back to work. Badeiras goes to Hindmarsh. Nathan Hindmarsh, he is captured. 20 metres out from his own line, and now using a big bopper in the form of Mason. But look at them swarm in. Plenty of black jumpers. Sonny Bill leading the way as Hindmarsh says we'll go the blind side. And the Kangaroos now 35 out from their own line, rising to play the football. Cooper, Johns, here's the kick, here's the chase. Brent Webb scampering, got it on the full, and we'll go to ground here. Not a bad result here for New Zealand.
It was a good result. Brent Webb positioned himself well to take it on the full and get a kick return. Tame Tupou gets down, but it was good also on the kickoff. They were finding themselves getting a little over anxious. It was good time to settle down, get some composure. Kalis heavily involved in the defensive department, now carrying it up.
New Zealand now crossing into enemy territory. Louis Anderson plays it back. Torpy goes for a sortie from dummy half, and he gets a penalty here for his team. And if they want to have a shot at goal, it's on offer.
Good runs out of dummy half, 3 in a row. And Torpy cops a smack across the snout from Willie Mason, who just climbed up high trying to protect the ball. Torpy cops one for his wares, but this is where the game New Zealand has to play. They have to get out quick out of dummy half. You saw 3 in a row there, and they were good yards. Australia were on their heels. 25, some 30 metres in 3 plays, right up the middle.
And I'll tell you what, Peter, he didn't miss it.
No, he got him. Then he got the 2 points as well. But one thing that you're seeing also right from the kickoff, the speed at which they're working and how hard they're working to not only try and trap him into the quarter, forcing them to try and play out of it. They're really starting to bring the bully tactics in it, make it work, and work him hard.
Brent Webb now looking to get New Zealand back on equal terms. 29 out from goal. The Crisco Kiwis looking for their first points. He has hit the upright. Bouncing ball. Chance for points. Oh! Lucky for the Kangaroos. Tamana Tahu got the bounce. Did they dodge a bullet then or what?
Well, it could have been just a bullet the other way as well with the bounce in those situations. Could have been yards on offer as a ricochet off the right-hand post. Oh, stacks on the mill.
A let-off for Australia. Here's Sevenasiva. Pretty much the cornerstone nowadays of the Aussie pack, following the retirement, of course, of Shane Webke from Test football, that is. Speaking of retirements, the man on screen, the man with the ball, Kennedy here. This is his swan song as well. Here comes the last for Australia. They'll go to Johns. One off the ruck. Here's the kick. There's the catch. Brent Webb, so far so good. Takes them on, goes to ground.
Good pressure on Johns, perhaps finding not the ideal kick that he is wanting. 2 occasions now he's come down this left-hand side. And Brent Webb been equal to the task and been able to find a good carry.
David Fa'alongo plays it back, and now hitting it up, Nathan Kalis. 5 short of halfway. Kidwell. 3 in the tackle for the Aussies. Here comes the last. Lulawa driving them around the park, at least for now. Tahu with the catch, looking to bring it back. No gap forthcoming. In fact, he gets banged down for his troubles.
And that man Kalis again heavily involved in number 8, the braided hair. The Kangaroos look to go wide, and this is what you'll see a lot of this evening. They'll play it up the middle, but they've got the passes, they've got the lateral game, and they'll move it very quickly to the edge. Nice dumping tackle. King was on the receiving end, and doing the excavation work was Fa'alongo, and it keeps on coming here for the Kiwis. This time Bangana. Kennedy is down. He has been hurt. We have time off.
And a timely break for the New Zealand players. We see the Australian width game starting to come into effect. They attacked right out to the right. Here's a hit on King. Good shoulder shot. Fa'alongo in there. Kalis, and then Nigel Vagana upends that man, and Kennedy over the back come Sonny Bill to wrap him up.
Well, Sonny Bill obviously a great sport straight away. Well, perhaps there was a little knock on there as he went to ground.
Tackle, Darren.
Yeah, I think Sonny Bill was more concerned with the fact it was lost possession. More so, I think, for the welfare of Kennedy in the first instance. But Fa'alongo, Bluey McLennan, he knows him well from Mount Albert. He's physical, uncompromising, and perhaps a display of courage to go outside the square and pick a guy out of the Rabbitohs not performing well. Sonny Bill, so much is expected from him this evening.
And Sonny Bill, of course, starting in the centres here tonight. Kennedy is back on his feet. We are back underway. Here's Sivanasiva heading it up. Louis Anderson involved in the defensive work for New Zealand. Here's the kick off the boot of Johns, rushing across the back 3 for New Zealand. Getting a bounce now, Jake Webster. Couple of handy tries only last week for the Melbourne Storm just before half-time, which really turned that match. And now for the Kiwis, it's Sonny Bill Williams. Tonight he plays his first game in the black jumper alongside Benji Marshall, who we await coming out here tonight. Going backwards now is Kalis. That's Jason.
And the possession stats are just reinforcing this arm wrestle that's going on at the moment. Very little separating the sides. The Kangaroos coming down, a kicking game not finding their targets, but the defensive game of the Kiwis, it's on song.
Nathan Kalis plays it back, and they go across to Lulawa. Well, they're peppering that corner. This time it's Carmichael Hunt, and you go, oh my goodness, what are they doing to him?
Whatever they're doing, someone find out what Jason Kalis is on, because he's ripping them apart.
Tahu goes out to Cooper. Some would say perhaps a little lucky to keep his place in this side. A lot of pressure applied by Justin Hodges. Selectors deciding to go with the centres from last year. Was that pass forward? No, says the referee. Mason with the play of the ball. Badiris, he zips away. Big meters. He eats up plenty of them. Kangaroos now. They go across to Johns. Back on the inside. Sivanasiva. How well was that read? David Kidwell. Smothering defence. Here's the last. Johns got the kick away. Some attention from Torpy. A catch in the in-goal. Straight forward for Webb. And they come back to the 20.
Well, Australia was set up in that set of 6 to come right out to the right-hand flank. And Badiris carved them up right up the middle. Big yards. And Sonny Bill hits it up. New Zealand, they need to find some ground with their kicking game. Luluai, he's 2 kicks so far. Been straight into the hands. I'd like him to find some space, even if he runs it along the ground. King, well, he catches the ball well in the air, but he's a big man, and getting down to a kick and behind him might be to go on the left-hand flank for Australia.
But liking how they're responding on defence, the ability to up and in just as quickly when they're going back, they're recognising that the Kangaroos can go wide. So as they retreat back in the defensive line, they look to shift the cover. They're tackling well.
Nigel Vangana. 10 minutes gone in the Bundy-Rum Test match. Still no tries. 2-0 the score off the boot of John. Speaking of kicking, Lulawai gets this one right down the throat of Carmichael Hunt. He surveys the options. Look at the chase. Oh, what's he done there? King has to rush back. A rush of blood from the debutant. And the Kiwis have come up with the pill. Big chance. Now going from close range. Fatuira. So close. The Aussies, they are at 6s and 7s. Lulawai. Barge over. Farlongo on debut. Did he get there? They will check the tape. It's come from a mistake. Farlongo. Hasn't had a win all season. Could have a try here in his first test in the black jumper.
Well, here it is, the first mistake of the game, and Farlongo, oh, good carry, nearly had the ball knocked out in the impact of the tackle, and he reaches over, and hold the horse, hold the phone,
Hold everything.
Gentlemen, I think what we've got there is a no try. He ends up with that ball just centimetres away from the whitewash, and I'm not quite sure whether there's any momentum there that'll take it over. Kangaroos come in there, and at that stage, and you don't see it from that shot, but have you got arms under the ball?
Well, I'm biased and I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Well,
I think there only has to
screen.
be one part of the football touch the white chalk.
Don't disagree.
And in that action there, from that shot, you wouldn't call it double movement. I hope you wouldn't. He gets rolled there, and then right there, King push him over.
King's providing the momentum.
He's a big man, King. He's over 100 kilos, so he's pushed him forward for sure. And then the only one part of the football has to touch the white line, Peter. So I bet you the Australian team are calling it the other way, but let's wait and see.
Well, we have two video referees here tonight, a Kiwi and an Aussie, Chris Ward and Ian McIntosh. Here comes the call. No try. Farlongo is denied, the Kiwis are denied.
And what you've got there is the arm of King going under that ball. Certainly he had some momentum provided by King, but King's arm also providing the obstacle to prevent them from finding the try on debut. Farlongo.
So the Kiwis now, they go back to work. Clinton Torpey, he goes to ground. That's the 10-metre line you can see. Options left and right. They go the latter. Lulawai looking for runners. Did he find one or what? Kidwell gets the try. And look at the Kiwis, they're coming from everywhere. New Zealand hit the front. Lulawai served up the pass. Kidwell got 4 points. And the Kiwis lead by 2 with a kick to come.
Justice is served, and Kidwell inspirational in the haka and just runs straight at a hole. Have a look at the work of Brent Webb running a decoy play right around the back. Australia thought they'd get him as Thomas Lulawai gives everyone a little bit of a wave. And this is a mistake. King, a known centre for his club, has played wing in some origin matches, makes a mistake going back and behind with the ball bouncing on the ground after a pretty ordinary pass from Hunt. And then watch this, around the back goes Webb, opens up the hole, good line, can't stop him from there. Kidwell, you beauty.
You've got a great line there being run there by David Kidwell coming off a Thomas Lulawai pass. But look at the misread. Look at the misread there on Andrew Johns playing on the outside. He saw the decoy. But perhaps the most obvious role, and we all suffer at various stages, the man with the ball in hand.
Brent Webb has missed it. None from 2. Nevertheless, it's the men in black who lead this Bundy-Rum Test match. 13 gone, New Zealand 4, Aussies 2. Lulawai, direct from the British capital, serving it up on a platter.
The timing of the pass was perfect. Flat and at the hole. Normally a decoy runner in that position with the play going round the back. And there, you're right, Peter, the misread. And a great try.
The Aussies with the restart. Ball trapped by Lulawai. He says, I'll have a go myself. And he takes the tackle.
And laying on that try will do wonders for the confidence of the youngster. He made it quite clear that he wants to stamp his name on and his mark on this game, not to be remembered for who is going to step up in the absence of Stacey Jones. This is a good start by the youngster.
Saw a shot there of Mark O'Meley and Steve Simpson, both on the sideline preparing to enter the battle, perhaps somewhat prematurely, I dare say. Here's Kalis, that's Nathan, and he succumbs in a 3-man tackle. Siva and O'Donnell leading the way. The old mousetrap move there by New Zealand if you're new to rugby league. They don't mind using that play, but copping it plenty. Here's Fatuira.
And something that they don't mind using as well. It's not too dissimilar to what they saw in the final.
What a lucky bounce. It ricocheted across there to Lulawai. My dear, oh dear, what happened there? But somehow the Kangaroos come up with it and punishing defence once more.
Punishing, they're certainly allowing Carmichael Hunt to know everything that's coming, and more importantly, knowing who's given it. But going back to the play that they enjoyed doing, which gave them success in the final last year, that's coming out of the acting half. The likes of Paul Fatuira doing what Shantae Harpy did. Quick yards, quick men in the middle of the ruck.
O'Donnell plays it back. Kennedy hits it up. And warming up on the sideline, I can see down below, Roy Azatazi. Badiris goes left side. Johns, he's Newcastle and Australian captain, of course. Not a bad kick this here for all the Aussies. Webb's got problems. Will they jam him? Will they? What a play! Massive play by the Kangaroos. They will get 6 more.
Great kick. Great kick. Webster was caught up. He had to beat, which meant Webb had too much ground to cover. He has been covering over this left-hand side because most of the kicks have gone in behind Tammy Tupou's wing. On this occasion, the ball bounces, holds up in goal. And that man, well, he doesn't get his body weight down low enough to affect the tackle and get down low. And 4 of them pick him up and drive him back.
You don't often talk about set play when it's a defensive play, but that was exactly that. The runners anticipated the kick by Johns. He went to the far side this time as opposed to where he's come in previous. And the chasers, well, they knew exactly what was going and they got it.
15 gone in the test match. This is Steve Simpson's first touch here tonight. He plays it back to Badiris. Johns. Lockyer, something building here for the Aussies. They go wide. Here's the try. As easy as you like. Matt Cooper says, look what I can do as they spread it. Cooper, he dots down out wide. The fans go up at Suncorp and the Aussies back in front at 6-4. Put it down to the kick and the chase. They got the repeat set. They get the reward.
They weren't even tested. They were short on that side for sure. Look at all the numbers here in black on the left-hand side, right-hand side of your screen. And then Humpy comes with the big shoulder charge. Sonny Bill, sure he gets Lockyer, but the decoy run around the back creates somewhat of a 3-on-1, would you believe, for the winger and Webster, and he's got no one. He's held back. Staggered defensive line. Sonny Bill come up too quick, leaving the other guys isolated, and the pass and the width. People standing on the chalk, they got hurt.
The game's all about creating numbers, and here all done too easy. At no stage did the Kangaroos look as though they weren't going to get this one over the line. Jake Webster, he was a shag on a rock, waiting on his own, trying to face an army of 3 coming down that narrow little corridor. Matt Cooper, the first of the night.
Once voted the sexiest man in our great game of rugby league. He gets Australia's first try here tonight.
And many questioning whether or not he should have been there for selection. Many looking the likes of Justin Hodges, who's good form for the Brisbane Broncos.
Here's Johns with the kick. Never looked like missing. Another 2 points for Andrew Johns in what has been a stellar international career. It's the Aussies at 8 points to 4.
If you're going to play an up and in defence, everyone's got to come up and move in. The 2 on the outside there of Sonny Bill. Once Sonny Bill had made his move, everyone had to follow. No point holding back.
Another restart off the boot of Brent Webb. And it's a shocker out on the full. And the Kangaroos with a big leg up from the halfway line. Can you believe that?
Dumbfounded. Webb pushing down to that corner. Too close to the touchline. Drags it a little left. Hands him the ball back. This hurts.
We saw it in the opening few minutes, perhaps over anxious, conceded a couple of back-to-back penalties, and obviously wanting to respond on the back of Kangaroos scoring that try. But they can't go away from what they've been doing so well, and that's about just settling into the groove and not trying to force play to happen.
They come this blind side. They pounce on Luke O'Donnell. 3 in the tackle, but look at them struggling to put him on the deck. Eventually he goes to ground thanks to Fatuira. 15 out from the goal line. Johns back on the inside. Look at this. This is Steve Simpson. It's the Newcastle connection coming to the fore now. Kiwis on their own goal line. Badiris, Johns, Lockyer. Here they go again. Kennedy surging towards the goal line. Will they come back the right side? Yes, they will. Johns holds up the pass. Lockyer, little kick, little jab. Too much weight on that. And you reckon the Kiwis are happy with that?
Well, they read that one well there, the numbers. They went down the left-hand side, all on the Kiwis' right-hand side, and they were able to match. They came back this side. Some of the crowd suggesting that the Kangaroos are in front of the referee, offside. Not forthcoming. As again, Louis Jansen looks, Tame Tupou, sorry, looks to make some yards.
Tupou, the man who wrote a letter not that long ago to Broncos coach Wayne Bennett, looking for an opportunity. Amazing how things pan out tonight on debut for New Zealand. Kiwis being repelled this time on the receiving end. Azatazi hitting it up now. Kedwell, he crosses halfway. New Zealand's only try scorer here thus far. Lulawai with the kick. Again, he can't find the turf. Hunt's there, and he has support. King goes to ground. It was his mistake, really, his fluff, in conjunction with Hunt, that really opened the door for that try to Kidwell in the first place. Midway through turn number 1, Johns, they go wide. Cooper can't beat them, goes to ground. Sonny Bill Williams in the centres makes the tackle, and the wonder boy, Benji Marshall, bides his time on the sideline. Tahu looking for inroads. What a pass! Was it forward? No way, says the referee. Simpson plays it back. Look at the Kangaroos. They're queuing up once more. Oh, jolting tackle. It had to be made. Oh, another one. The Aussies now. There's a knock on. Surely. Yes.
Absolutely brilliant. Wonderful play by Tame Tupou. They were absolutely cornered out here, and he's made 3 blockbusting hits all in a row. The first one, well, it was just special contact coming up from the left-hand side and jamming in when he had 2 on the outside. He had the confidence to go forward, and I like that. And then when the ball come there, boom, he stayed on his feet. As King goes to collect it, well, you watch this, he'll collect him as well. Smack. He's getting a nightmare from him. Thorpe can't quite pick it up, but the Kiwis get the ball back. Brilliant. And then the Shrek throws the footy. Good stuff.
And I like the comment that Bluey McLennan made last week with Tame Tupou. Perhaps not having one of his best up against Canberra for Brisbane last week on being notified of a selection of the Kiwis. Bluey McLennan made it quite clear. Well, I'm glad he had his bad one last week.
Did he what? New Zealand now go to work through Azatazi. Certainly Tupou's confidence will be sky high after that episode. Louis Anderson, he serves it up for Lulawai. Back on the inside, Kalis, that's Jason. Now Lulawai beats 1, beats 2, goes to ground. Highmarsh is there, doing what he does best. Was he in front? Play on's the call. They go wide. Here comes Sonny Bill. Chopped down. What a tackle that was. Matt Cooper. Second effort, no penalty. You judge for yourself. Webb, crossfield kick. They'll go high here. Up they go. The Aussies now come up with it. Gasnier, he was under siege. He did well.
He was under siege, but the competition for the football wasn't a great one. Oh, as Tame Tupou just nearly gets King over the sideline. Interesting move here. Faumu on the sideline, listed to start the game, is warming up, and he'll get his boarding pass very, very shortly.
The Aussies copping plenty for their troubles here tonight. O'Donnell, he cops a bit of a bell ringer. Kiwis have missed 7 tackles so far. The Aussies just 3. Lockyer, quick transition. Cooper, can he get it free? Not quite. Here's Faumu. They'll be watching in Wainui-Amata tonight. He's on the sideline. Here's the kick. Webb this time. Safety first. How good was the kick?
Well, it's good play. They'll go down that left-hand side, as we see Benji Marshall, and they'll go wide to Cooper, and that forces Jake Webster to come up and actually play. That means he can't drop back on the 4th tackle and be back there on that side for the kick. That stresses the back 2, or should it be 3 initially, to just Webb and Tupou. Finds the ground, finds the sideline. Smart play.
And perhaps the best passage of play for a little while for the Kiwis, with David Fauumu's sideline. They can't make an interchange right now, but interchange is about feeling the game and knowing when it's right to make the change. And there's a centre, they're starting to get back on.
Get in. Hurry up.
Someone like Tupou with good feet, good movement before the line would be a timely introduction.
New Zealand now, perhaps some safety first football. Well, perhaps not. You would not believe it. I speak too soon, and the door is open here for points for the Aussies if they are good enough. Badiris, Simpson. Pressure on New Zealand when they did not expect it. On their own goal line, under the pump. Johns back on the inside. Hindmarsh. 5 out, right in front of the sticks. Milton Road end of the ground. They miss out Johns. Lockyer, they're queuing up. Big tackle had to be made. Torpy, he snuffs it out. Clinton Torpy, what can you say about him? Carmichael Hunt, can't create too much on that occasion. Aussies, 8-4's the score, they lead. Gaznia got there! That's why he's the #1 rugby league centre on planet Earth, and that's why he's been offered the big money from Rugby Union. 12 plays 4, and Torpy is looking for a hole to crawl in.
Well, to Clinton Torpy's defence, it was Luluai who dropped the ball in the pass that should have been taken early on in the middle, which gave Australia the ball back. But this is smart play. Badiris at half, he sees and hears Gaznia isolate Luluai. Luluai's 2 in here, and this is Gaznia 2 in the green, and big man on small man. Tupou's out wide, King holds him out, and then from there, well, I'm afraid he's done plenty of this to plenty of good players. Luluai's too small, didn't push hard enough off the line to stop him, and it was all, well, too easy, really.
And the key phrase there is about pushing up off the line with speed. Someone of that size, that power so close, it's never going to be a task that you're going to be able to achieve. And certainly the size, he's a happy man. And he may also be happier if he gets the contract that he wants, that sees him staying with the St. George Illawarra Dragons. But you've got to push up and meet someone of the size of Gaznia. You can ill afford to let them come to you.
And you've got to think about pushing the pass. We keep coming back to that. Gaznia, he gets 4 points, both centres, both from St. George Illawarra, across the whitewash here tonight. 2 from 2 for Johns, 1 in from touch, 21 out from goal. He's missed it. The Aussies, they have a dozen on the board, 26 gone, 12 plays 4.
The modern day centre, they're big, they're strong, they're athletic, they've got speed to burn, footwork, ball skills.
Webb this time, he makes sure of it. Here comes O'Mealy, here comes trouble, boom! Like a bowling ball. He was firing plenty of barbs during the week, looking to back it up with the football here tonight.
The Kiwis need to find something special here. They need to arrest a sense of slide, and that's coming up with a big play, whether it's a defensive play, but it's certainly about getting their hand on the ball. They haven't seen it for some time. Errors down the other end, giving possession, giving territory.
This will help. This will help enormously. Just what the doctor ordered.
Simpson trying to get to his feet to play the ball. Had some attention from Kiwis as well. And there, Sloppy played the ball. The speed of it all too fast. New Zealand do get some football. Faumu on the field. Let's see the speed of the play the ball. He'll need that speed to be quick.
But more importantly, it's about completion with this ball. They need to get themselves back into the game, play out their set.
Fatuira, 2-time premiership winner. First with the Panthers, then the Tigers. Now, darting, Faumu, the man the boys are talking about. What a player he has emerged since moving to the Cowboys. And now Kalis, that's Jason. From St Helens in the north of England. Dusty pass picked up by Azatazi. Has to do his best under the circumstances. They're only 8 metres out. Let's see what they've got in attack. Luluai. Bangana, there's an overlap, there's a kick, Kedwell, here's a chase. The Aussies, how do they come up with that? Carmichael Hunt somehow got the football, and he got it back into the field of play. What a play.
What a play. Special touch, I believe, from Cooper as King brings the ball forward. It was a good kick in behind. He's done some damage, King, as well. come all the way from this side of the field to get involved there. As the Shrek's upended and a mistake.
Mark O'Mealy trying to do too much. Changes are plenty on the sideline as we get back to the action. As a Tazi, 10 metres out, has the ball stripped. The referee did not miss it. Just his second game in a test match as a referee. It's a gift if they want it. You'd expect to take the 2 here to get it back to just 1 converted try.
Good pressure in defence. Here's a special moment as Benji Marshall gets his wish as well to get on the field. Big Mark O'Mealy bringing it back, trying to offload. Shot here of O'Donnell, forces the ball, turns it over. This will be the end play here. Watch the kick, and let's have a look at the hands of Cooper, flicking it back to Carmichael Hunt. Oh, heart in your mouth sort of stuff there. Carmichael Hunt does really, really well. They're certainly willing to chance their arm, never to get the ball on. Here it is, you hear the chair, Marshall on.
Benji Marshall, the boy from Whakatane, Gold Coast schoolboy, and now one of the real superstars of rugby league, has entered the battle. Here's the kick. There's the flags up for Brent Webb. That will help. 6 points now. That's the margin. 10 before the break. It's the Aussies at 12-6. Benji Marshall, the subject of so much scrutiny during the week. West Tigers insisting that he did come off the bench here tonight, wrapped in cotton wool. Now he gets his chance. Johns with the restart. The shoulder of Marshall's is, well, look at this. Sonny Bill Williams. He goes to ground. And there's a bit of a punch going on there. O'Mealy's in the thick of it. That is no surprise. Vangana, the captain tonight. If you joined us late, no Ruben Wiki, the 50-test gamer, succumbing to injury. That hamstring did not recover. Vangana with the captaincy for this one.
And you talk about collisions. Notice the impact. Roy Asatazi's head swinging straight back on the tackle of Kennedy and O'Mealy. It continues 30 minutes down. And the collisions continue.
5th and final play here. There's the kick. Benji boy boots it downtown. Carmichael Hunt. He tried his best to get him in a black jumper. The would-be teammates come together.
And they come together, and what a way to test the shoulder. No hesitation whatsoever. Benji Marshall just rips into Carmichael Hunt.
And perhaps a little bit of sledging on the quiet as well. Tahu now. He cops a gobful in defence as a Tazi comes up trumps. Kennedy now, much better for the Kangaroos. Almost up to halfway, the home side. Looking for redemption tonight, maybe revenge. Here's the kick, Johns, where are they onside? The Aussies, play on's the call. I wasn't so sure. Cooper came up with it. Johns has got it. Lockyer now. There's the kick. They're coming through. It's a foot race. And Tupou, he forces it on debut. And what a critical play at that.
Did well. Did very, very well. Wasn't the easiest ball to ground and goal. And he got down and covered it really, really well. Enterprising play on the far side here from Johns. Puts a little one through. And he's got to be offside for sure. Could have gone back. In fact, if he had scored the try, it actually would have been interesting. And this is the final touch. Another kick in behind. Boy, they test you, don't you? The full width of the field. First it was on the left, and here, far out on the right. Exactly what they want to do, Australia. Tire this Kiwi side out.
Well, you've just seen 2 examples of how important it is that you're on your game defensively, because they're testing you. They go one side, then they bring it back the other side. Then they go up the middle.
This is not pretty. Thomas Lulawai is the man who's been stung for the tackle going beyond the horizontal. I'll come back to that touch judge in a minute. That was ridiculous as Lockyer's got it now, looking for a hole. 12-6 the score. The Kiwis, they really need to keep them at bay here. Flat ball from O'Mealy to Johns, and now Simpson. They spread it. O'Donnell, he goes to ground. He can smell a try.
Good play, O'Mealy tipping it on.
In the corner. King, that's why he's a winger. Bouncing ball to Johns. Cut out pass now to Hindmarsh. Up quickly, they come. Hindmarsh beats one. Shows his bum in the process. That's nothing unusual. That is silly, but the penalty goes to the Kangaroos. Well, was he entitled to do that? It's a grey area, we know that for sure.
Lazy grab of the leg, cost the penalty, back-to-back penalties. Australia decide. Well, there we go. I'd say it's lucky, Nigel Garner. He's not allowed to grab the player like that for sure. But Australia, they have started to move this ball around as we expected. And Johns completely running the show. Hindmarsh out on the edge, coming back at some angles. Up and in defence from New Zealand, just hanging on at the moment.
Well, it's putting a lot of pressure on your bench as well. Coaching staff, Bluey McLennan.
Here's the kick from Johns. They've got a buffer. They've got a handy buffer, the Kangaroos here. They lead by 8. 14 play 6 before the break. As for that touch, Judge, I'm absolutely bewildered. How he missed that, I will never know. Carmichael Hunt, as you called it, Darryl, he was offside for sure. Marshall with the restart. No one quite there to come up with the clean catch. Lockyer got across there. O'Mealy looking to wind up off the bench here tonight. Hindmarsh, who missed the Tri-Nations last year because of injury. Now going to ground is Willie Mason on the 30-metre line. Kennedy, who has been in outstanding form for Manly Warringah in the Telstra Premiership. Bodiris crossing halfway. Sonny Bill Williams around the bootlaces. Here's the last. Johns got the kick away. Look at this, swirling around, bouncing ball. But it goes dead. And just as well for New Zealand.
It was a good set of 6 for Australia. They brought it out between the posts and they were dominant in every tackle in that set of 6. Some 2 players left on the ground at every occasion. I mean, the speed of the play, the ball was very, very quick. And there, opposition there. Now they're dominant on Tame Tupou on his back.
Louis Anderson coughed it up, but it went backwards. Fatawera now, he will steady the ship. 4 minutes shy of Oranges. We are live from Suncorp Stadium. Trust you are enjoying the coverage here tonight from the River City of Brisbane. There's the mousetrap play once more.
And plays it a lot more effective rather than coming one out. Easy target, little meters.
Kalis, that's Nathan in 19. He is banged down by Hindmarsh. 5th and final play coming up. Marshall with the kick. Getting across quickly. Carmichael Hunt. He goes to ground. How about that for a surrender tackle?
That was their most effective kick of the half. They've had a lot of kicks from Thomas Luluai in that position of the field. And he did well. He pinned him right in the corners, and with the pressure coming on, wasn't a contest to catch. But once he had it, he had players on him.
And 4 minutes to go to the halftime. Watch them work now. If they want to get some points or have an opportunity of having a crack at some points, they need to get the ball where they are now. They need this territory, and they need something.
Just saw the stat there of the meterage as far as the Kiwis were concerned, doing a little bit better than their opponents. As we look at the Aussie bench, Thurston, of course, he is on debut as well. Mason looks for the penalty, gives the referee the big stare. Now, Johns with the kick.
Makes so much difference, doesn't it? Johns, he kicks after a good run. He's smart. Doesn't wait for a slow kick. Or slow, should I say, play the ball. As soon as he sees a good run, he rips in there, says, I want the ball now. And I'll get rid of it. Oh, yeah.
Speaking of turning it over, Tupou has done exactly that. Hold your breath, folks. Oh, my goodness. Gasnier nearly copped it. They gave him everything but the kitchen sink, but he still kept going. Johns. Now, Hunt, up from fullback. Oh, the line had to hold. It did.
Boy, he's done well today out there. Webster on the edge. He has come in many a times and stopped the play. Great effort.
Badiris, some second phase. Lockyer goes across field. Simpson Running wide, got it away, goes to ground. Kiwis have knocked on. No, they haven't. Ashley Klein now. He's come up with perhaps a dubious call. Right in front of our commentary position. And you can see the Aussies on the bench, they're spitting chips.
Well, and they should be too. First I thought Tupou had actually taken the player without the ball for sure, and then the knock on as well. But we have coughed it over again. So with just 1 minute left on the clock, Australia will set the scrum and set it quickly and have the last chance.
Talk about digging your own grave. This ball security will be driving the Kiwi fans bananas. What an opportunity. In the dying stages of the first half, can the Kangaroos get another one? Gasnier looking to set it up, centre to centre. How often do we see that? Here's Cooper.
Flat ball, good run by Cooper, did well to take it.
Badiris comes back to the right side. Johns crabbing across field. Kennedy. They're on their own goal line. And again, struggling in defence. Johns, Lockyer, they rush up quickly. Again, they rush up. Did it go forward? Well, he's got a call, a very belated call, and guess who gave it to him? The touch judge on the far side of the ground.
Well, hallelujah. Finally, he's decided to play the touchy on the far side. Gets this one absolutely right. Yeah, he's blowing it right. There's plenty of pressure on you. The sweat dripping off the touchy, as that'll end the half.
We have half-time here at Suncorp Stadium, a competitive Bundy Rum Test match. What a game on our hands. The Kiwis have had their chances, but at half-time they trail by 8. At the split, it's the Kangaroos leading New Zealand 14 points to 6. Stick with us, more to come after this.
On the ground so we can get domination around the ruck and let it rip in that last quarter.
How you feeling?
No, good. We still haven't had our best, and our best is still to come.
Go get them.
Well, certainly no bold predictions there at half-time, unlike perhaps one time in the past.
But you can read one thing out of that. The best is yet to come. Benji Marshall came onto the field just moments before half-time. That is where the difference will be. That is where the game will be won, in the halves, in the back end.
Henry Johns back out onto Suncorp Stadium. Shouldn't forget, so many times over so many years he's come to this place and been heckled, but tonight he is largely a hero in the green and gold for the last time ever. Darren Lockyer looking to take the Kangaroos all the way through to the World Cup in 2008. And I'm sure Badiris will be there as well as that man. Here we go. Second 40. Buckle up. Kiwis get us back underway. And it's a deep restart. Lockyer so close to the in goal. Simpson now looks to wind up. Gets it back to the 10. No, he doesn't. He goes backwards. O'Mealy. It's stiff once more. No chink in the armour in the opening 60 seconds of the second stanza. Badiris, he goes to the tip. Mason. Almost up to the 40. One more they go through Kennedy, looking to get that ball free. And again, a surging run from the Manly lock forward. Here's the last. There's the kick. John's under pressure. Giving it his best shot was Torpy, but he got it away. Webb looking to isolate one defender. If there's nothing happening, Cooper comes up with the tackle. Now for the Kiwis, Jake Webster. He plays it back. New Zealand with a bumping run courtesy of Tupou. He loses the football. There was a strip.
Courtesy of touch, he's got another call to the ref. As Tame, Tupou, the attention of 3. Let's have a look where an arm is. It's getting jostled. Well, Might have got the benefit of the doubt there. It could have been the melon or the head of Badeiras.
Well, the
working the ball.
Interesting fact there, Ashley Klein, he wasn't going to call it. It was the introduction of the guy on the sideline that prompted him to give the penalty. But clearly, there's none deserving in that play.
New Zealand on the attack. 20 metres out. Let's see what they've got.
Good run from Tupou. Poor defensive effort from Cooper.
Sonny Bill Williams. He gets involved. More of that is required. Fayumu, dummy half, goes to Hindmarsh, or rather Kalis, I beg your pardon. Nathan, that is. Now New Zealand with a chance to score points. Marshall holds up the pass. Webb. It looked creative, it looked pretty, and it almost came off for Louis Anderson. He plays it back. Luluai back on the inside. Kalis. Nathan, that is. One-time captain of the Kiwis. Here comes the last. Fayumu shows it. They run it on the last. They put all their eggs in the one basket, and they come up with nothing. Absolutely zilch.
Poor play. No need to do that on the last, right up the middle when Australia got numbers there. What about a kick to the side, a kick in behind, another set of six. Good shot, Sonny Bill. And rips the ball and play on. Was there two in the tackle? I'm not sure.
Well, not according to the match officials. Here we go. Vangana. They shut him down. 20 out from the goal line. Brent Webb, a dummy half. Luluai. Kalis looking to punch a hole in the line. Not this time. 15 out. Marshall holds it up. Oh, big body contact out wide. King, the former garbage collector, giving it to Louis Anderson. Kalis, Nathan, not quite expecting the ball. Comes up against his old familiar face there of Nathan Hindmarsh. A little bit shaky on that play. Luluai, little kick, little dab, nice bounce. Carmichael Hunt, well, almost lost his head in the process. Off the shoulder, says the referee.
But it was also a play that was questionable. Not quite sure if Thomas Luluai had the assistance of anyone else, whether or not any support players knew that the little short kick was coming.
That pass was flat. Play on's the call. Australia get it away from the danger zone with Cooper. Lockyer. And now Kennedy. Look at these meters. All of a sudden, they're looking rampant.
And talking about rampant, Costo, I think Thomas Luluai's gone.
He looks shot. He's gone. Looking at that picture as we come back to the action. And Johns, here's the overlap, here's the try. Or is it Tamata Tahu? He stands his ground. He grabs 4 points. Touchy likes it, but the referee, he wants to be sure. They look pretty confident. John Cartwright, the assistant coach, out there relaying instructions, but this looks pretty convincing for Tahu.
Nice finish, fair try. Length of the field in one set of 6. As Thomas Luluai limps off with what looks like possibly a hammy to his left leg. Tahu, King, they celebrate. And this try come all about from the far end of the field. Australia were working it off their own line after Sonny Bill collected Carmichael Hunt. There's the signal on the big screen in the stadium for the try. And in one set of 6.
Well, Kim Bomber Beasley looks on. And the bombs are exploding through the Aussie backs.
And this
they
is
are
where
exploding like crackers at the moment, and it came really from nothing.
Well, it was a chase by Luluai the half. He was really pushing to try and get anywhere near Cooper and just overstretched. The result, either hammy or in the groin area, the abductor area. And then that started all down the other end there, DJ.
Well, he started it really, Tahu, with a nice pass at one end, and then he finished it. And the ball from Johns was a ripper. Staggered defensive line from New Zealand on the blind side. They didn't get set. One came up, the others didn't. And now Joey gets a chance to knock one over from touch.
Johns, 5 minutes gone, second half. He has got it. How about that for a little bit of luck for the maestro himself? 6 gone, second half. The margin is 14 points. What a cushion.
Well, you talk about a cushion. We heard Graham Norton talk about nothing won, nothing lost at half-time. But a 4-pointer turned into 6. That's what's needed now.
Lulawai resigned to watching this from the bench for the remainder as King is repelled by the Kiwi defence.
And again, it just reinforces the importance that you're set to 6. And this is where Stacey Jones was so crucial to their performance last year. The ability to finish their sets on a high note. The kick down the other end by Thomas Lulawai was a nothing kick. And it ended up down the other end.
Kennedy looks to push the pass. They cough it up. Bayumu comes up with the dregs.
Danger signs from Badeiras. Did you see the width of the pass when he threw that to Johns? Ricky Stewart had a great passing game as a halfback. Badeiras, boy, can throw them 20 metres from half easily.
Pritchard. Penrith Panther on the sideline as we speak. Jason Kalis with his boarding pass. Marshall back on the inside as Atazi. He is banged down. Hindmarsh again working overtime for the Kangaroos. Marshall, Sonny Bill Williams. Steve Menzies back in Test football tonight after a 4-year hiatus alongside a young gun in Thurston. Kalis, Nathan that is. He goes to ground. They are 15 metres out, the NZRs. They need points. They need them now. There's the kick. Oh, here's an opportunity. It's more than that. It's a try to Sonny Bill Williams. And the Kiwis, they are back in this one. Don't go anywhere. Touch nothing. It's game on all of a sudden.
Well, the pressure cooker. We saw Cooper bat one back for Carmichael Hunt. And this time, have a look at Tahu. He's feeding this ball to Carmichael Hunt, who's not even thinking about it. Sonny Bill stretches out, downs it easily. Well, unbelievable, really. He was inside the field of play, so that means when he landed and if he caught it, if he was held on goal, would have been a repeat set. But boy, oh boy, I bet you Ricky Stewart's not happy.
Well, you talk about unhappy. He's entitled not to be unhappy because there was no need for it. There was no need to play the high risk. But you take what comes your way, Sonny Bill. Thank you.
Talk about a gift. Sonny Bill Williams. He was blowing last week at Ericsson. 80 minutes against the Warriors. Just 3 games back from injury, and a significant one. We shouldn't lose sight of that. 10 months sidelined because of injury.
And even more significant is getting the try for the Kiwis. It keeps them back in, or gets them back into the game. The game was starting to slip away.
1 from 3. Some pressure on Webb. He moves in, and the touchies like it. There is hope for Bluey McLennan and the Kiwis. 9 gone, second stanza. 20 plays 12.
Well, a mistake brings them back into the game. And just playing the right thing. They didn't run it on the last. They did something creative. They put the ball in the air, made Australia play. Make people play, you get a mistake.
A restart from Andrew Johns. And all of a sudden, the stakes have been raised at the cauldron. New Zealand now with some one-out football and a massage to boot. On the receiving end was Jake Webster from the Storm.
That insurance policy on Benji Marshall, how many minutes was he allowed to play with Lulu off the field? I bet you he's got to go the half now.
Speaking of Marshall, the ball's been knocked down off his pass. 6 more is the call. Or is it? No, seemingly. I thought the arm had been extended. Klein has saw things differently, hence the kick. They got it away. That's the main thing.
And it was a good one too. Kick from his own 20, lands on the 20.
Carmichael Hunt. Oh! Big body contact. And Carmichael Hunt is on the deck. Some of the fans are going berserk. Well, they talked about passion. They talked about fire and brimstone. and they talked about this kid copping it. He's got it right here.
Let me be the first to say that we don't like to see anyone lying in this position on the football field. I know Carmichael Hunt's coming for plenty this week, and we hope he's not hurt. He cops it. Well, it's high, and he's probably a head clash as well, but he looks like he's out before he's hit the ground, Ropo.
Well, the best example once again of the change in rules, which is about contact of the head with your shoulder or your arm. That was a shoulder charge, and there's Frankie Pritchard demonstrating exactly that. I hit him with my shoulder, but the rule states clearly contact with the head, with the arm or the shoulder. You know what's coming.
They've called for the Medicab, and Ashley Klein is in the hot seat, and he wants a chat. Let us listen in.
Okay, it's definitely a penalty, okay? He was falling because he was off balance, but you've hit him in the head, so that's why it's a penalty, okay? But we are going to put it on report so they can have a look at it.
Well, the match reviewers will check this out. Greg McCallum plus a representative from both the New Zealand Rugby League and the Australian Rugby League. They will survey the tape post-match, but this is more important. Carmichael Hunt seems to be back on his feet and getting back to it.
Once upon a time, a shot like this, you'd have your coach in the grandstand applauding. That is a hit, that is a contact, and that's what you're looking for. But a rule change now makes that illegal. And that's the way it'll go. Penalty Australia.
Boy, oh boy, he didn't miss, did he? Lined him up.
Well, it's been a difficult week, certainly, for Carmichael Hunt, as we see a change being effected here by Ricky Stewart. Menzies is on the ground. Carmichael Hunt leaves the ground.
Will we see Lockyer back at fullback? Thurston, he'll come into the halves, perhaps.
And just on Carmichael Hunt, his mother couldn't get back in time from the Cook Islands to watch this game here tonight. Carmichael's grandmother, in fact, with her own health problems. He was no doubt looking to dedicate his performance here tonight to his grandmother. But this opens the door for Jonathan Thurston. Special K is going to the casualty ward.
And more interesting as to where Thurston will go. Where will Lockyer go? Many suggesting that Lockyer should go into number one to the fullback. Well, we'll see.
The Kangaroos now with Kennedy. Half an hour to go. The margin's 8. Badiris. Johns hands it on. Simpson. He hits it up. Workaholic back rower. Can play up front too, of course. 10 out from the goal line. They miss out Johns. Thurston. And now Menzies. The man they called the Beaver. He plays it eventually. Johns. Lockyer. Set move, and it doesn't come off. Did they pass off the ground? I can't believe that. Play continues. How on earth did that happen? We were getting set for the play the ball, for crying out loud. They come the blind side, and Hindmarsh scores a contentious try. The points will be given here. Hindmarsh crashes over out wide, and the Kangaroos kick clear at 24-12. But the Kiwis, they have every reason perhaps to be miffed.
Well, check the rules. He's on the ground, he's tackled. He pops it up with one arm. This will be it here. Now, if that's not a tackle, I'm not standing here. Well, that's the penalty.
You're standing.
Unbelievable.
A lot of discussion pre-match about the neutral in inverted commas. Ashley Klein, the Australian-born-based Super League player in the UK. His first match, a youngster, was certainly going to have a role to play. Hindmarsh.
Neutral or not neutral? Check the rule book.
Well, his interpretation was that it was a case of play on. I am somewhat staggered. I am not alone. But the numbers are in the frame, and I'm sure we will hear more about it post-match. Big kick this one for Johns and the Kangaroos. He can do no wrong. Oh, Joey, how good are you? In your farewell at 26 26-12.
Well, you don't get everything go your way in a football match, and this certainly isn't in the rules of the game. One hand on the ground, holding himself up, offloading the ball. Benji Marshall, and we get caught on the blind side again from the ruck. Tahu comes infield, and from that play the ball here, Hindmarsh down a sneaky blind.
The Aussies seemingly in the comfort zone. 3 converted tries. That's the mathematical equation now for New Zealand and Brian McLennan, the defending Tri-Nations champions. And it goes from bad to worse for the Kiwis. 7-3, the Kangas lead the penalty count.
And it's only a statistic that's starting to take its toll. Not only about giving them added possession with the ball, this is another set of 6, but it gets him down the other end of the football field. O'Mealy.
Menzies looking for the offload, decides otherwise. Badiris. Johns. Thurston to Kennedy. Still has the legs pumping. 3 in the tackle. They do their best. One by one they peel off. Johns. Here he goes, scheming as always. Hindmarsh looking for a double, not this time. Now they stack the blind side. Here's the try for Tamana Tahu. He grabs a double. Tahu with another one, but just to be sure, they will in fact check the tape. The Kangaroos, they are hopping.
Talk about hopping, they're now finding their wide game going to the edge. The likes of Sivanasiva, Mason, O'Mealy, they did all the trouble in the middle of the ruck. Now it's about going wide. Lockyer, good decoy runner, everybody in motion. He's got options. He could have gone straight to Tahu on that pass. Not to find Cooper.
And the last pass, of course, they can't adjudicate on the forward pass. They're only looking for obstruction here and or possibly grounding. But for mine, this pass looks very dodgy, to say the least.
The only play there that you're looking for, Costa, and you've already pointed it out, one of obstruction, and I certainly didn't see it in that play.
Not at all, but the touch judge again under the microscope. I just wonder when his next test match will be.
They have some marvellous ball players in this Australian team. We saw Thurston come on as we get the result here with the try. You'll see a green one here for sure, and let's hope the floodgates haven't opened. But Darren Lockyer weaving his magic around the back. The players know where to go. He knows to stay on touch. They'll do the work inside him.
And Tamana Tahu involved in several plays down the other end when he looked to tip it back onto Carmichael Hunt, which resulted in the Sonny Bill try, while he finds amends down the other end. The recipient of a nice little tip on there by Cooper. Good skills.
Andrew Johns. I'm sure the message will be going out if this becomes a canter. Still, having said that, there is plenty of clock left in this.
3 in a row from this spot, Costa.
Oh, he must be getting used to this piece of Suncorp Stadium. He's getting practice. He doesn't need practice. Chook cancelled the lessons. He is on fire. Andrew Johns, arguably the greatest player in modern-day football, with another one at 32-12.
Makes it look easy, doesn't he? Casual, full of confidence. Nice strike.
Perhaps he cancelled those lessons and give some somewhere else. Come on, DJ.
He's not that benevolent. Here we go again. Another restart for the men in black. Sivanasiva. He'll lap this up. Give me your best shot, he says. Kiwis, not surprisingly, doing a little more tackling, but look at the missed tackle count more importantly. 23 plays 6. It's a horror stat in anyone's language.
And backed up by that possession, in all courtesy of a penalty count. Unforced errors. They take their toll. They've hung on for so much of this game, but slowly the Kangaroos continue to find the dominance as they march down the football field once again.
Johns with the kick. A bouncing ball here for Brent Webb. Eventually he has it under control. Gets it back to the 20-metre line. And now, Tupou. He is put away clinically by Hindmarsh, and particularly Bodiris was there as well. But Alongo, he plays it back. Tremendous to see him just get an opportunity here tonight. South Sydney, his club, yet to win a game. Could have got a try in the first half. And look at that, Lockyer moving to fullback for the Kangaroos. Little kick over the top, some variation from Marshall. He can't get the bounce. Lockyer gets the ball. Well, you've got to try something when you're trailing by 20.
Well, they needed a special play, and Benji was looking for the little chip and regather. But well read once again. The Kangaroo defence had one line. They also had a second line that just mopped it up. And Lockyer just chiming back in as though he's never left the number one.
Ben Kennedy recently announced his retirement from the game at the end of the season. For the end of the season. Beg your pardon. He plays it back now for Bodiris. Johns. Thurston. They read it well. Real well.
He was sitting on his shoulder waiting for him.
Talk about a piggyback. Johns with the kick. It will find touch.
Smart play.
Composed. Andrew Johns knows how to lead a team around the park. Dodges the bullets. Wouldn't have made too many tackles. And this is an attacking kick as well. He knows the winger there and King is chasing. That sits up. And Webb has to play the ball. Doesn't get that. Second best option. Finds touch. Slow the game down.
Well, he's having $1 each way.
Well, you talk about leadership. Sometimes leadership's also about recognising what your troops have just done and completed, and they've worked hard. Here's an opportunity to look to force the error.
We approach the 1 hour mark here in the Bundy Rum Test match from Suncorp Stadium. Louis Anderson now doing his best, almost getting back to the 20-metre line. Vangana skippering the Kiwis tonight in the absence of Wiki. Was it a knock-on? No, says Klein. Play-on's the call. A little luck goes New Zealand's way.
A little bit of luck, but what's needed right now
is not another knock-on.
As they turn over possession, Green and Golds get another good opportunity at the right end.
Thurston fires it to Lockyer. Again, they are queuing up. Tahu looking for three. Got it back on the inside. It's still on. Menzies will take the tackle. They're on the rack here, the Kiwis. Make no mistake. O'Mealy, hard and straight. That's how you do it, he says. Bodiris, back now for Seven Asiva. He can't charge across. Two more tackles to survive. Can they hold on, New Zealand? Johns, Thurston, there's the kick. They have forced it, but just, only just. Tupou, he saves the day.
But how much longer can they withhold at the moment? They're scrambling all over the place. Tame Tupou coming up with the ball on this occasion, but they're tantalising close to Kangaroos. They're teasing them. They're taking them from side to side.
That takes some skill, Jonathan Thurston. He caught that ball and kicked it in the one motion. Had two players on him, got the weight exactly right and kicked it between two players. How skillful is he?
The man Darryl's talking about, winner of the prestigious Dally M last season. #1 award in the game, at least in this part of the world. Here's Seven Asiva.
And he's well clear this year as well, Costa.
Yes. He'll be sniffing around for that come season's end, no doubt. O'Donnell, he goes to ground. Into the final quarter of the test match. O'Mealy got it away to nobody. It doesn't matter. Thurston's got it. There's the step. Jinking and weaving. The Cowboy playmaker on debut tonight. Johns threading the needle. Looking for Lockyer. Does he get the bounce? No way. No way in the world. Webster's got it. And just as well for New Zealand.
The bounce of the ball, Stacks on the mill. Have a look at it, bounce end over end. Try, certainly there, overread it. Webster picks up the pieces after Kennedy has a go at it as well and brings it good 15, 20 metres out.
Here's a penalty. Did they need that or what?
Big thank you from Brian McLennan. Wipes his brow and says, about time.
I'll tell you what, they're going to need a map, New Zealand, because I can't remember the last time they visited the Milton Road end of the ground. They are, for the record, now into enemy territory. They need points, they need them now. Some second phase. Anderson, the former junior Kiwis captain. He goes to ground, 25 metres out. Azatazi. Bulldogs enforcer. He's a dog on the loose.
What about the footwork? He's got the best footwork for a front rower in the NRL.
Bungana got it away. Anderson, Louis that is. He goes across now, and there's almost a... Well, you call it what you want. The man in the crowd, the expression on his face, it says it all.
You know, some might suggest that with a scoreline of what you've got, then you've got to try to do the unexpected or to chance your arm. But there was nothing doing in that. That was an ordinary end. And at the moment when the Kiwis need someone to step up and take charge, to give some direction, let's not lose sight of Thomas Luluwai, no longer on the park. That was not the play.
Lockyer just moves so effortlessly, I beg your pardon, across this famous piece of turf. Mason eating up some metres and gets the penalty for his troubles. 17 minutes to go and Kedwell retreats.
Willie Mason has had the best 2 games of football all year in his last 2 outings. Against the Warriors last weekend and now in the test. Hasn't tried to offload the ball, just quite content to grab the ball, run it up, stand up and play it. Pays dividends.
It's fair to say, DJ Costa, that you got the Kangaroos playing under instruction, doing what they're asked to do by the coach.
Thurston, ball goes backwards. Play on is the call from Ashley Klein, and he succumbs in a one-on-one tackle courtesy of Roy Azatazi. Johns, across field looking for runners. He finds one. His name is Menzies. He goes backwards and backwards. And loses it. Bit of an anticlimax, that one. You just mentioned the coach, Ricky Stewart. What a player he was for Australia, New South Wales, and particularly the Canberra Raiders. This, his first ever game as the Australian coach. 9 caps, gentlemen, for Australia. Never won on home soil. Do you reckon he is enjoying this or what?
And a big crowd here at Suncorp. The biggest crowd since 1966, just over 44,000.
Gee, you do some reading.
Expecting a closer contest tonight, and for most of the first half, they were getting exactly that. But it's been a war of attrition. Kangaroos have slowly gone about their business, dominating the centre and right across the park. The wide game being perhaps the most impressive in the back end.
Speaking of the back end, Brian McLennan has just 2 changes left. Azatazi slips the pass. Sonny Bill backs him up. Second effort, no, says the ref. Anderson, Marshall, cut out ball, bouncing ball. And now a chip over the top. Webster, can he get a bounce? He takes on Lockyer. Lockyer came up with a fumble, but it went backwards.
Once again, they had the numbers, and Benji Marshall throws the big long pass, and this time it bounced. Perhaps it wasn't the option. Still finding his feet in amongst this New Zealand side, Benji Marshall. One pass way out left. It was a big floater, went over the sideline. The second one here to the right-hand side, hits the ground. Those passes need to stick, and they need to find players in holes. Oh, here we go.
Quick hands. Tahu, he's cut loose, and now that tackle had to be made. Cooper goes to ground. Nigel Bungana, he got across. Great sense of urgency. Badiris. All of a sudden, some of these players look out of gaps.
Well, out of sorts. Benji Marshall comes to mind straight away, DJ. Some suggested a player that's been out of the game with injury to return to a game of such quality. It's a big ask, and I think what we're seeing here this evening, it's a difficult one to find your way back into.
Oh, for sure, and he'll be the first to put his hand up. A couple of nice touches on his behalf, though. He has had a couple of good kicks in the second half. Big long ones, some 40 metres. Paul Fatuera has had an absolute wow of a game here this evening. He was the one who put a good covering tackle in on Tahu there, and he is so decisive.
Does he ever play a bad game, though?
No, he's Mr. Reliable.
The Kiwis now, you can't blame them for giving the ball some air. 32 plays 12. If you joined us late, New Zealand actually led in the opening minutes, courtesy of a try to David Kedwell. 4-2 was the score, just for the record.
Have no problem with giving the ball some air, but get someone to straighten it up on the outside of it as they go to the air again this time.
Pretty good bomb too, but not enough pressure. But there's enough pressure to force a mistake from Tahu, who does give you a few butterflies and opportunities. Somehow Australia has possession. Ricky Stewart, the heart must be in the mouth when they pepper Tahu. King turns it back for Simpson. In fact, Mason, I beg your pardon, he looks like he's on a mission here. Thought about throwing the pass as well.
Been very vocal coming into this match about the need to find redemption.
Simpson there pushing the pass.
But the carries by Mason tonight, they've been impressive.
Well, they were certainly impressive last week as well when the Dogs came to the City of Sails and cleaned up. Look at the body language here. Completion rates favouring New Zealand for what it's worth. But the New Zealand forwards, they are not rushing to set this scrum. Time off has been called here, finally. Well, they talked about this game as payback and redemption and whatever else. Australia had not lost back-to-back test matches since 1978, and it will stay that way tonight. And now for New Zealand, looking to spark the Kiwis, Benji Marshall. Looking for some consolation points here. Nothing more, nothing less. That has popped out. And the little kick off the boot of Webster after the event says plenty.
One of New Zealand's best with ball in hand, Asatasi. Just finds the contact and hitting the ground all too much as the ball pops out here on the second tackle. And New Zealand, boy, they've had to scramble the second half. And with the ball players that Australia possess, and Johnson, Thurston, Lockyer, all on the field. Look at that pass. Spot on.
Gasnier got it away legitimately. And the Kangaroos, you get the impression they are far from done. O'Donnell back to Gasnier. 5 short of halfway. 10 to go in the test. Sivanasiva crosses the midway stripe. Look at the leg drive. Look at the hunger.
And look at it in both their front rowers. Mason did it moments before. Sivanasiva just carries it on. Mason again.
Mason offloading in traffic. Lockyer's got it. See you later. Darren Lockyer, the Brisbane hero himself, the Aussie captain. He joins the party, and the Kangaroos are putting the Kiwis to the sword at Suncorp.
And that's got class written all over it. And this is what they're talking about with Lockyer. This is what they're saying when they want to put him back into the fullback position. Prolong his time in the game. He wants to stick around to 2008, the next World Cup. Well, he's got quality and class, and he backs up the quality of this player. Sivanasiva, providing all the obstacles you can imagine. Doesn't want to surrender, but what a lovely ball coming off. Willie Mason hitting back in the centre, changing the point of attack, and then that second phase. There's that man again in the middle, but that's what you want out of your fullback. Sniffing around the middle and picking up what comes your way. Lockyer, class.
Well, it's about people doing things for others. Willie Mason's done this all night, just hit and charge, and then a brilliant interchange here with Gasnier, who just catches and passes. He knows he's not in the hole himself, and he knows that man there will be sniffing around somewhere from the back as the kick goes over from that man Johns, Carmichael Hunt. Well, he got shaken up in a tackle from Pritchard. He's regathered his senses, comes back to the bench.
9 to go. It is 38-12. Kangaroos coasting here in Brisbane. Yet another restart, this time off the boot of Marshall. Thurston with the catch, and Mason with the wind-up. Look at the determination on his face. The Aussies using their forwards once more. They come up with an error, and the Kiwis looking to pounce. On tackle 0, they are 6 metres shy of the goal line. Playing it back as Atazi. Fayumu has got some deft footwork, hasn't he? This time, though, he doesn't go too far. Marshall at first receiver, looking to promote the football. Beats one. Batawira looking to bump off Cooper. Can't do so. He sticks to him like glue.
So much better when he takes it to the line, Benji.
Speaking of Marshall, there he is again, turning it back on the inside. Ba'alongo, he goes to ground. The boy from Mount Albert. And now New Zealand going across once more to Azatazi. But yet again, they cough it up. This has become error city for the Kiwis. Keeping the statisticians busy tonight in that respect. Kennedy, he wants more of the action. So too O'Mealy. Menzies passing before the line. Gasnier, he steps on the gas. He torches away. And now Cooper, centre to centre. They round him up. He plays it back to Badiris. Lockyer to Kennedy. It went backwards. Thurston, no, it went forward, in fact. Referee Klein says, let's come back here.
Wonderful play, Gasnier and Cooper. Something you don't see too often in the modern game where the centres come together. And when you do, you see something special.
And not for the first time tonight either, Peter.
It was a lovely tip-on from Menzies into a yawning hole. And then Australia was stacked up out to the right. And Lockyer tries to draw him past to put Kennedy in what possibly could be his last test as well. And the ball goes behind him.
And as you count down with 7 minutes remaining on the clock, for many of the people here at Suncorp tonight, their attention is now going to start turning towards the number 7. This is a special one for Andrew Johns. Undeniably the best game and best player in the game of rugby league. Not too bothered with all the fanfare that comes with it, but he'll have no choice at the completion of 80 minutes in this game.
This is becoming almost a comedy of errors for New Zealand. They get a lucky break once more. Louis Anderson, he hits it up. Yes, just on Johns, he'll be relishing the full-time hooter here tonight. Very rarely he has come to this venue and been applauded as he walks off the field. And now some aggro, some argy-bargy. Few of the boys getting hot under the collar. They talked about fireworks. It's taken 75 minutes.
Well, there's nothing really. Kennedy, a high shot, caught by the good footwork of Fayumu close to the line, and then Nigel Vagana comes in across the top, stands his ground, nothing doing.
They take the tap, New Zealand, and fair enough. And again, a wayward pass. Luckily for them, they've got it, for what it's worth. 5 minutes to go here in Brisbane. Azatazi plays it back. Nathan Kalis out on his feet on the bench. Came into the side tonight in the absence of Ruben Wiki. Look at this hounding defence, this time on Webb. Now zipping away, Fa'alongo. He goes to ground. Simpson over the top. Here comes the last. Marshall, delicate kick. And look at Lockyer. He gobbles it up. He scoots away. How did he get through there? King. He is chopped down. Lockyer. Now dummy half. Thurston. Bumping run. O'Mealy hands it back. Mason hits it up. They spread it. Kennedy.
I'll tell you what, Sonny Bill came from right on the other end of the football field. He bounced Mark O'Mealy's a start, and then he had Willie Mason or Ben Kennedy in his sights, and he was hell-bent on finding him.
He just chased the football right across the football field as it was going. No defensive line at all. He just wanted to nail him. But Badeiras goes right through.
No defence. Danny Badeiras. He helps himself to 4 points. And it goes from bad to worse for New Zealand. Talk about a reality check for the Tri-Nations champions. They trail 42-12. This has been one heck of a touch-up in Brisbane.
Well, when you talk about reality checks and when you've got those that are perhaps a little bit more preoccupied with trying to find some connections, and you allow your defensive line to lose complete shape, to have no structure about it whatsoever, it's not the way you want to end an international. You came into this game with a huge amount of confidence. The coaching regime, they were complete. They were confident that the preparation was good. Well, they've just got a big reminder. The side desperate to reclaim what they had, the #1 tag.
Look at this. Talk about a present to say goodbye in the green and gold. Ben Kennedy, he grabs 2 points. And you reckon, look at this. They will party tonight. Ben Kennedy, what a fairy tale finish for him. He gets the honour of converting the Badeiras try. Seven tries to 2. Has this been a carve up or what?
So disappointing for this New Zealand side. For everybody, people on debut, the experienced guys, the guys that have come from England. But you must hail the efforts of this Australian side, especially in the second half. They've been fantastic. Their ball players are world class, and we knew that. They've put it on show here this evening.
Well, just to quantify, they've scored 30 points in the second half. 30 points in pretty good time, Darryl. Thurston.
And there could be more to come. Thurston. Lockyer was outside him, and Menzies.
Well, I'm going to back him in because I reckon they're looking for 50. They want to rub this in, and Thurston has got great intentions. No one is going anywhere here at the Cauldron. Johns with the kick. Here's the chase. Menzies, they're all queuing up. Will they get the bounce? Oh, you betcha! You betcha, baby! And it's the pin-up boy here in Brisbane. Captain Courageous. Call him what you like. Darren Lockyer has put the icing on the cake, subject to confirmation. They will get 50 if they get a green light.
What about the kick? They're checking for the onside, and they're all onside. Here it is. Hooks it back off his right foot, bounces it in front of the post. The post and the pads come into play. 3 Australians there, 1 Kiwi. And they're the odds. In fact, they're nearly getting each other's road. Gasnier, boy, hasn't he been involved in plenty of stuff today as well. And Lockyer. And that one's all a little bit special as well. His second today. Pinpoint accuracy from Andrew Johns. Took it to the far right side of the field as if he was going to kick it into the corner. Hooks it back into the middle. And then plenty of chases.
Perhaps it's come off Menzies. That's what they are checking, the 2 video referees. Will they be the party poopers? It's all academic, of course. It has been for some time. Green light. Darren Lockyer, he finishes this with a double, and the Kangaroos romp home. They're about to chalk up the half century. 36 points in 40 minutes. How clinical was that? The Aussies, they put the Kiwis away well and truly. They come back to earth, New Zealand, with a giant thud. 50 points to 12 as the siren sounds. Carmichael Hunt battered, but not beaten. They've done a job on New Zealand in the most impressive fashion, the Kangaroos. This has been quite staggering, keeping in mind they led just 14-6 at the split. Did they turn it on after half-time, or what?
Complete would be what you'd call their second half performance. And it was hanging in the balance there in the first 5-6 minutes of the second half. And then the tide, well, it came in, and it came all in green and gold. They were all over New Zealand. New Zealand hanging on in defence. Couldn't quite match them. And once the weight of possession and the mistakes turned in Australia's favour, their big guys came to play. None bigger than Andrew Johns.
All right, let's go downstairs. There are a lot of heroes for the Kangaroos. One of them is standing by right now with Stephen.
Well, Darren Lockyer, how good does it get?
Yeah, you know, it was a good win, you know, the back end of the game. The first half, New Zealand, you know, to us, and we just had too much firepower.
You said to me earlier this week that you couldn't believe the anticipation of this test. Did it live up to everything? That first 20 was outstanding.
Yeah, it was, mate. You know, like a very physical game. You know, you saw some of the hits tonight, and you know, New Zealand were a bit wounded. They had a few injuries, so you know, to their credit, I think they done very well.
Number one again.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess we got those bragging rights till the end of the year, and then it's on.
And enjoy it, mate.
Okay, let's go sideline once more. Peter is patrolling the turf down there. He is with Willie Mason.
Willie, probably a little bit too early to talk about redemption, but it's a way back.
Mate, it is. You know, we were embarrassed last year, and you know, this is the first step to regaining that #1 spot in the world. So, mate, New Zealand played terrific, but you know, our boys just lived it for Joey and BK and just Australia.
You talk about Joey, it's his last. It meant something special to all.
Mate, it did. You know, he's a champion player and he deserved to go out like that. Him and BK have been, mate, stalwarts of the game and the rep sort of game. So, mate, it's just great to play these guys.
The Kiwis, they hung in there for half the game at least. They were hanging in.
Mate, it could have went any way. Just little things in the game they just sort of turn, and mate, that happens in a test match. So I'm glad the bounce the ball went our way tonight.
And what about all the hype leading up to this one? It was something special.
Mate, I was that nervous before a game, mate. It was ridiculous. It was like my first test. So, mate, it's great to see that the international game is back.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, man.
So look at this, Nigel Vangana addressing the players. This is gut-wrenching for Brian McLennan. Absolutely gut-wrenching.
There's Ruben Wiki there. The pictures on his face tells the story how disappointed he'd be. He was having a few words there too before. They'll be trying to regather and saying, listen boys, this is reality. This is what's happened. Where do we go from here?
They look shattered. They look heartbroken. Now they need to pick up the pieces and get ready for the next battle. Tri-Nations 06 at the end of the NRL season. Let us go downstairs once more, and the New Zealand captain is with Stephen.
Nigel, how do you feel?
Pretty disappointed. You know, I think the effort was there, but we just coughed up too much ball, did too much tackling, and it cost us in the last 15.
A good first 20. There was a lot of positive signs in that first 20.
Yeah, we always play with passion, you know, and I think we might have played with a bit too much today. Probably played with our hearts instead of our heads, and come back to bite us in the end.
Focus was there, though.
Yeah, we had a young team on the field tonight. They'll go back to their clubs. We had an injury. Had only played 2 games, and probably weren't as battle hardened as the Aussies. But we'll get another shot at them at the end of the year, and we'll build from it.
All right, good luck, mate.
Thanks, Steve. I just want to say hi to my boy Willie at home. I love you, boy, and I'll ring you tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Nigel. I think Andrew Johns is standing by.
Andrew, not everybody gets the opportunity to have the fairy tale end.
Mate, yeah, it's an honour to play the green and gold, especially with these players. You know, I'll remember it for the rest of my life. I feel so lucky.
It's all gone so quickly when you look back. It's just a blink of an eye.
Mate, as it's flown, and you know, it only really seems like yesterday, you know, was first pulled it on 11, 12 years ago. It's been a great ride, and really enjoyed it.
And to finish a ride when international footy looks as though it's starting to find some good help.
Oh, mate, they're a good team, no doubt about it, but we played white hot tonight, but they'll be back.
And now you got more time for surfing.
Exactly. I want to go to Raglan, New Zealand.
And our thanks to Andrew Johns there. What a moment this will be for him to savour. He did it last year with Origin. He's done it tonight in Test football. Let's go through the score summary. I'll take a breath here. Tahu a double, Lockyer a double, Cooper, Gasnier, Hindmarsh, Baderis all scored tries. Johns 8 from 9, Kennedy the gift from in front in his farewell. New Zealand just a dozen, Kidwell, Williams both getting across the stripe. Brent Webb 2 from 4. A shellacking here tonight in Brisbane, 50-12 at the final hooter. Stick with us, we'll have more from Suncorp right after this. Welcome back to Suncorp Stadium, where the Kangaroos are lapping this up. They have well and truly collected and secured the Bill Kelly Cup against New Zealand. Speaking of the Kiwis, let's go to Peter now. He is standing by with Paul Fatawira.
Bats rugby league again shows that wins don't always come when you want them most.
For sure, mate. You know, it was a tough battle out there, and you know, full credit to Australia. But you know, to our boys, you know, we dug deep, and you know, we hung in there, but you know, it just wasn't our night.
There was a sense that you were just hanging, and they worked you hard, and they kept on coming.
For sure, mate. You know, we did a few errors there, but you know, the effort was there, and you know, the boys put on the best they could, and mate, it was just unfortunate. But you know, full credit to Australia. You know, they stuck to their guns, and you know, they got the victory. Unfortunately,
mate, everybody's going to ask, you know, the impact. Ruben Wicking withdrawing moments before kick-off. That had a toll.
Sure, mate. You know, he's a great leader, and it was a big loss, you know, to the team. But you know, there's no excuse. You know, the 17 they went out, they did their best, and mate, just you know, a few costly errors that cost us in the end.
So what matters most now is how you come back in the next one, yeah?
Well, sure, mate. You know, we'll learn from our mistakes, and you know, we put our young team here, and mate, we'll learn from our mistakes. So looking forward to the next one.
And this weekend you're going to back up again?
Well, sure, mate. We've got Manly on Sunday, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, wish you all the best.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Cheers.
So there you have it. They need to pick it up. A 38-point flogging here tonight. And the Aussies, well, reclaiming their status, unofficially that is, and officially, as world number one. We crunch the numbers here at full time. Look at the possession for the Kangaroos. They had plenty. The Kangaroos pinning the Kiwis down. It was the story of the night. The penalties, not too much in it. Look at the line breaks, though. It was daylight second.
Well, the line breaks that come out of it in the end, but it was more the penalty count early on that really hurt New Zealand, and then the balance of it as well. The offload's 20-8. And Stephen McIver, well, he's got one of the debutantes on show today, David Farlongo.
Oh, you know, I was out there to do my best, and that's all I can give. And just, it's a shame we didn't come away with the win, but hey, it's always the end of the year.
Tell me your first taste of Test rugby. Does it match up to everything you dreamed about?
Oh, it's everything I dreamt of. You just can't get any better, eh? It's just a moment I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
And it's a big step up, isn't it?
Oh, massive step. Just nothing like it. Nothing like it.
And little Bailey here, has he got Kiwi boots getting ready?
Oh, for sure. Just give him a couple of years and he'll be there.
Mate, he looks like Dad. Good looking. Well done, mate, and congratulations on your first test.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.
Yes, it'll be a bit of a drop back to the Bunnies for sure. Speaking of club football, let's go to Manly favourite, Steve Menzies.
Steve, what a wonderful opportunity to come back into international football this time.
Yeah, it's great. You know, the boys did well. I thought the intensity was really there from the start. Forced a few errors and sort of went on from there. It was a great performance.
For someone like Andrew Johns to get a fairy tale ending, mate, it's not too bad for you either.
Yeah, it's good, you know, for an old bloke. I really enjoyed coming back into the side. It's been a great week, and you know, what a way to finish, scoring that many points.
And international football, it's pretty healthy if they keep this up.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think it's you know, the biggest hype we've had of Test football for a long time, which is great for the international game. And I think at the end of the year, the series will be a big event.
And if Manly keeps going as well, could be a good year.
I hope so, mate. Yeah, we're plodding along all right. So a few more weeks of that would be good.
Good on you, mate.
Thank you.
Andrew Johns going back up the tunnel. He will never forget this moment. What a standout performance. What a way to sign off. Daryl, the obvious question, the $64 question, where to now for New Zealand?
Well, we saw Dave Farlongo and he said it doesn't get any better. Well, I've got news for you, David. It does get better. When you get a test win under your belt as well, the feeling is very special. We saw Andrew Johns here, and as heir apparent, Andrew Johns playing his last test, and Jonathan Thurston in his first.
Well, we saw it all here tonight at the Cauldron, my favourite place. We had bash and barge brilliance. We had it all. Stephen, how good was it, scoreboard notwithstanding?
Costo, I forget about the 50-12 scoreline. It was Test rugby at its best, and I cannot get over that first half. The intensity, the pressure, the collision, everything. It was a true test, a true battle of gladiators.
But it also reinforces an Australian side that came here prepared. They knew what was in front of them. They were all anticipating a big clash, and they got that in the 40 minutes of football. But then they slowly went about their business, grinding down the Kiwis. They got injuries in the wrong positions. That paid a big price, obviously coming in without Ruben Wiki, but to lose Thomas Lulawai as well. Then it all fell upon Benji Marshall. Too many errors, penalties. Well, it's a tough night and not the arena to do it in.
And Pete, just briefly as we run out of time here, David Farlonga, the bolters, they say, didn't look out of place at all.
He didn't look out of place. The forwards didn't look out of place. They got in there, they battled. Defensively, I thought they were outstanding in 30 minutes of football. They got up there, they hustled, they bullied, but not enough at the back end. That's when it counted most.
ANZAC Test 2006 belongs to the Kangaroos. An enormous scoreline. Do not forget it, 50 points to 12. It was an enticing first 40 minutes, and then the second half, the Kiwis ran away. But one thing is for sure, Test Rugby League is back, and it's back for good, and it's always going to be here to stay, because it is the great game of rugby league. From all of us here from Suncorp Stadium, enjoy your weekend.